Hello, and welcome to the John Ark Show. Today's episode is called Tommy Hearns and the Kings TV show on Showtime. Before we begin, I want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel for free. You can also like, comment, and follow us. We're going to have a lot of great celebrity interviews coming up in the near future, so make sure you click on that notification bell so you can get notified every time we upload a new episode. I'd also like to tell you about a service called HollywoodIsCalling.com. It's a great way to purchase live phone calls from your favorite celebrities. There are more than 100 stars to choose from, and calls begin at $19.95, which is really affordable. Give it a try. HollywoodIsCalling.com. Now, let's get started. If you enjoy the world of boxing, then there's a great series on Showtime called The Kings. The Kings is about four of the greatest boxers that ever lived: Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns, and Roberto Duran. Now, I used to know Tommy Hearns back in the day, and he would invite me to go see some of the Pistons games with him at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Tommy was somebody I respected for a number of reasons. First of all, we had something in common, and that was that both of us have never smoked, drank, or done drugs ever in our entire lives. While I was originally into martial arts back then, we both loved boxing. Tommy used to train down at the Kronk Gym in Southwest Detroit, and we used to go down there all the time just to work out and watch the boxers training, see who the new up and comers were. So it was a lot of fun. At that point, the Kronk Gym was the epicenter of the boxing world. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Emmanuel Stewart ran the place, and he trained some of the best boxing champions in the world. So if you were at Kronk, you were in the heart of the boxing world. Now, I can remember the first time I saw Tommy training down there, and I just knew he was going to be a champion. His punching style was so incredibly fast that you couldn't help but be impressed. It seemed like he had superhuman reflexes, just lightning fast. Tommy was also super generous. I can't tell you how many times he helped people financially. I had a friend whose daughter used to go to the same school as Tommy's children, and one day she came home and she said that one of her schoolmates was very scared that they were going to be evicted and forced out of their place. Apparently, Tommy got wind of this, and I guess his child told him about it. And the next day, Tommy went down there with his checkbook, and he paid for a full year's rent for this family just to make sure they wouldn't get evicted. Just like that. He never knew them before. He never had any special reason to help them. It's just that it hurt his heart to hear this story, and he went right down there and he helped these people immediately. By the way, he didn't send out press releases like most creepy celebrities do to let everybody know how great, how generous they are. He didn't do any of that. He went down there, took his checkbook, and he paid their rent for a year. In my eyes, that was one of the things that made Tommy one of the greatest champions of all time: his generosity and his kindness. I think he came from a modest background, and he never forgot those days. And it always hurt his heart to see people going through the same thing. So he would have helped whoever it was. One time, Tommy and I went to this Italian restaurant, and there was this really sweet and nice couple, a family actually, an entire family in the booth sitting next to us. At one point, the mother leaned over and smiled, and she said, "Excuse me, are you Tommy Hearns?" And he said, "Yes." Tommy always smiled, is always very friendly. And she said, "We're a huge fan of yours. It's really nice to meet you." Now, fast forward about an hour later, Tommy and I are getting done eating, getting ready to go. Tommy calls over the waitress, and he tells her to put that family's bill on his check. So when these people heard him say that, they almost started crying. They were so touched by it all. That's a true champion. That's something you never forget when you see it. Now, when this family saw what Tommy did, I could see the tears welling up in their eyes, and that even affected me. I have to tell you. Tommy always conducted his life the way I tried to conduct my life. He was always dignified, honorable, and helpful to people. I think that's why so many people loved him around the world. Everywhere Tommy went, the fans adored him and showed him some real love. I remember when he and I used to walk into the Palace of Auburn Hills just before a basketball game, and the entire place would stand up and start clapping and cheering and yelling out his name. This guy was universally loved, real special individual. So watching him on Showtime's new TV show called The King really brought back a lot of great memories for me. The show covers Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, Marvin Hagler, and of course, Tommy. All these men were great champions and some of the greatest fighters everywhere. The nice thing about this series is that it shows footage that I've never seen before. And as a huge boxing fan from back in the day, I've seen most of the footage on these guys. So kudos to the producer and the director for digging up some really rare footage that was just a pleasure to watch. Another thing that really impressed me was watching Marvin Hagler pursue the championship, no matter how many times the promoters or the world of boxing put obstacle in his face to prevent him from becoming the champion. Most people will never understand how difficult it is to pursue an incredibly challenging dream with so many people deliberately and aggressively trying to prevent you from obtaining that dream. Some will even sabotage your efforts to try and stop you. Hagler endured all of that with dignity and went on to become the champion regardless of what they did to stop him. Now, if the King series has a flaw, it's that they make the mistake of trying to incorporate too much politics into the show. And that really slows it down. And I think people get irritated by it. Sports lovers love sports. They want to watch sports. They don't want to hear, political editorializing all throughout a sports documentary like The Kings. So I think that's a crucial mistake the producers make. Now, one thing about the series that I really enjoyed was the way they revealed that Sugar Ray Leonard wanted to go to college after he won the Olympic gold medal. And he was planning to do that. But his family, his parents, were in such dire straits financially that he had to do the right thing and support them and make money as quickly as he could. And the natural decision was to become a professional boxer at that point. He did what he had to do to support his mother and his father, and you have to respect the guy for doing that. Now, the world of MMA is what many people love to watch now. But back then, boxing and its champions, these men were truly the kings of all sports. Everywhere they went, people loved them because they achieved the impossible. And that is something you have to respect. If you don't, then it's a character flaw on your part. These four champions were the best in the world in their era. If you're a fan of boxing, then I definitely recommend that you watch The Kings of Boxing. It is a great, great show. So with that, I want to thank you for watching. I want to tell you that we're going to have more great celebrity interviews coming up on the show and more breaking news stories. So we encourage you to subscribe to our free channel. Make sure you click on the notification bell so that you get notified every time we post a new story. Thank you for watching, and we shall see you soon. Bye-bye.